Hidden within a ring of impassable snow-capped mountains, the elven city of Gondolin stood for 4 centuries without a single enemy breach. The physical embodiment of that unbroken peace was a lord of the Noldor named Ecthelion. As the leader of the House of the Fountain, his entire existence was tethered to the city's strict routines and the constant, pure flow of its springs. He was a warrior clad in silver armor adorned with diamonds, but in peacetime he was known for his music. His life was governed by rhythm, syncing his melodies to the peaceful splash of Gondolin's waters. That musical discipline translated directly into his military role, Warden of the Great Gate. Ecthelion was tasked with protecting the singular, highly fortified entrance to the valley, ensuring no outside threat could penetrate the walls. The city had spent 400 years perfecting its symmetry and its songs. But while the elves polished their marble, their enemies spent that same time in the pits of Angband, forging a specialized, mechanized brutality that the Warden's static defenses were never designed to face. That specialized brutality arrived when Morgoth finally located the valley. He sent an avalanche of soot and black ash to suffocate the white walls. Leading the charge were the Iron Snakes, massive mechanical siege beasts forged in the volcanic pits of Angband. They were the industrial antithesis to Gondolin's natural beauty, designed specifically to crush stone. The outer rings of defense collapsed almost immediately. A horde of orcs flooded the perfect geometric streets, overwhelming the perimeter guard and turning the city's order into a liability. Ecthelion dropped his flute and led his house into the fray. His voice cut over the roar of the Iron Snakes with a terrifying, piercing war cry that signaled the end of Gondolin's peace. To protect the sanctuary, the musician had to become the very thing the city was built to exclude, a bringer of death. This top-down schematic of Gondolin's concentric rings shows the tactical reality of the siege. As the outer walls fell, Morgoth's forces converged, funneling and trapping the remaining elven defenders, represented by this blue dot, into the central King's Square. Waiting for them in that square was Gothmog, the High Captain of Angband. He was the Lord of Balrogs, a towering demon of abyssal fire and shadow. His historical resume was written in the blood of kings. Gothmog had personally slain Feanor, the mightiest of the Noldor, and had later beaten High King Fingon into the dust during the 5th battle. Ecthelion was a master of elven steel, but a sword is a tool for cutting flesh. It had no answer for an Ainu of fire, a creature of pure spirit and heat that had already broken the 2 greatest warriors of the age. Ecthelion's unwavering duty had finally met Gothmog's irresistible power. Traditional warfare was no longer an option. The opening of their duel was brutal. Ecthelion was deeply wounded. His arms grew heavy with exhaustion, and a massive blow knocked his sword, Orcrist, completely out of his grip. He stood unarmed, unable to lift his hands, and staring down the blade of Gothmog's massive black axe. In this final moment, Ecthelion weaponized his own armor. He lunged forward, driving the diamond-tipped spike of his silver helmet directly into the demon's chest. The spike buried itself deep. Using the sheer weight of his body, Ecthelion wrapped his legs around the Balrog and dragged the monster backward, plunging them both into the freezing depths of the Fountain of the King. A cataclysmic steam explosion ripped through the square. To extinguish a fire that could not be cut, Ecthelion had to abandon the logic of the duel and embrace the logic of the fountain, sacrificing his own life to pull the heat into the deep. When the steam cleared, the square was silent. The fountain was broken, and both the ultimate demon and the ultimate warden were gone. Losing Gothmog broke the momentum of the invasion. Morvath's command structure stalled in the chaos of the city center, lacking the captain required to direct the final slaughter. This timeline illustrates why that pause mattered. Gothmog's death bought the critical window of time required for a small group of refugees, including Tuor, Idril, and their child Eärendil, to slip out through a secret passage. Ecthelion failed to save Gondolin, but his sacrifice kept that escape route open, ensuring the survival of the bloodlines destined to eventually save the rest of Middle-earth. Thousands of years later, in the Third Age, the physical city of Gondolin was long gone. But Ecthelion's sacrifice had embedded itself into the cultural memory of those who remained. The mortal stewards of Gondor, men tasked with guarding a declining realm, adopted Ecthelion as a revered name, utilizing it for centuries as a symbol of duty to a kingdom without a king. His legacy survived in steel as well. Generations later, his speculated blade, Orcrist, was recovered from a troll horde. Its mere presence still struck primal terror into the orcs of the Misty Mountains. Gothmog's fire died in the fountain, but the child Ecthelion died to save would eventually carry the light of a Silmaril across the sea, securing the help that finally ended Morgoth's reign.